What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Starting Line podcast. This is your starting line for winning in every area of your life. I am pumped for today's episode. I've got a really powerful interview that I'm going to introduce here in a second. We're going to talk all things cost segregation and how you, as a business owner, specifically in the real estate field, but I know we have business owners of all kinds of verticals, listening to this, how you can save money on your taxes, how you can be smarter with some of the decisions that you're making there, because I know that's a big problem for a lot of our business owners. So excited to dive into that. I'm excited to also talk to an incredible leader who's been serving clients for almost 30 years now and learning the ins and outs of how to lead and manage people. And so I'm excited to dive into that. But before we do that, I wanted to start our episodes like we always do with what we call our winner's creed. Now, the person that is going to do this for me, Jeff, is already on here. But before I do full intro for Jeff, are you cool doing this winner's creed with us?
Of course. Of
Awesome.
course.
Jeff,
That
so
sounds
glad
great,
you're here,
man.
and I'll introduce you in a second. But before we do that, Jeff, repeat after me. And guys, if you're listening to this, let's say our winner's creed. It's a positive confession that we have the ability to use the power that's in our words. I believe the Bible that I read says death and life are in the power of the tongue. And I'm going to use the words that I have to speak life, speak positivity over myself. And so, Jeff, repeat this after me. If you're listening, repeat it after this. Say, I'm a winner.
I'm a winner.
It's who I am.
It's who I am.
I don't quit.
I don't quit.
I don't give in.
I don't give in.
I will fight
I will fight
and I will win
and I will win
because I'm a winner.
because I'm a winner.
It's who I am.
It's who I am.
That is the truth. If you're listening to this, if that's the only thing you get out of this episode, you are a winner. It is who you are. I want you to believe that and start going to act like it. Let me do an introduction for you. Today's episode, and you would have already seen it if you saw the title of the episode, but I've got a new friend. His name is Jeff Hyatt, and today we are going to have an incredible conversation. Jeff is part of an organization called Cost Seg Studies, MSC, and you're able to give us the full names and all that stuff. But MSC, and they do cost segregation for specifically real estate organizations. But what is amazing to me is the amount of organizations they've served. 27,000 is the number that Jeff told me that they've served in the last almost 30 years. That is a lot of impact. And so this guy has a lot of experience, a lot of stories. And, when I'm working with someone, just to give you guys an insight as business owners, when I'm hiring a service, when I'm trusting a partner, I look at how many reps they have under their belt. Like, how many times have they done this? The quality is a big indicator too, but do you have the reps? Have you gone through mistakes? Have you gone through tons of practice through this thing? And to have helped 27,000 organizations says a lot. So we're going to talk about all things income tax reduction. We're also going to talk about just the experience of a leader so that you guys can run your race better and you can win better. But I want you guys listening to this to help me welcome Jeff Hyatt. I'm a round of applause here on this video. If you are not driving, you can pretend to clap and help me welcome Jeff. Jeff, welcome to the episode. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Cole. And it was great to hear your positive confession there. We went through that at the boardroom when we
Yeah.
were together for that. So that
Uh-huh.
was a great thing. And then
It was
we
fun.
did your workout there too.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. So oh yeah, I forget you've already gotten to say that. That's cool.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I know those
Like, I know
words.
this. I've said this before. Yeah. So for you guys listening, Jeff and I are also part of a mastermind together that our health organization gets to coach a lot of their clients. My consulting firm coaches some of the organizations in there, but I also get to do a workout at every one of the events. And we have 25, 30 business owners that will go through the workout, and we did that winner's creed. So pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, give us a little bit of background before we dive in, because I want to give context to people before they trust this guy and take his advice as gospel. Which, by the way, anybody who comes on our podcast, I trust them. They've been vetted by either myself or I trust the masterminds that I'm in have vetted them, and the people that I've heard good positive things about you guys. So give them a little background too, so they can understand how you got into business, what your services look like, before we dive into the meat of what I feel like you can teach them. Is that cool?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, back in the day, as it was in 1999, I was working with small business owners, helping them reduce expenses generally.
Yeah.
And I met this young CPA guy who was moving to the Boston area from upstate New York. He was
Yeah.
coming to work for one of the big accounting firms, and we were at a barbecue because he was moving to Boston because he was dating my little sister-in-law that he had gone to college with,
Yeah.
and He said, "Hey, Jeff, you're working with small business owners. You should hear about this thing called cost segregation." And I said, "Oh, what is that?" And he said, "It's faster write-offs for real estate." And I said, "No, that sounds boring." And he goes, "No, you should talk to your clients. It's really a big deal." And I had to be polite. I couldn't like
Sure.
just say give them the Heisman and say no, not going to talk about that. So
Uh-huh.
I talked to these clients, and they own Dunkin' Donuts and Domino's Pizzas and
Hmm.
Taco Bells, and they
Yeah.
were all like, "That's great."
Yeah.
And at the time, I couldn't even spell depreciation. And so, one thing leads to another, and we're doing 5 or 10 projects a
Yeah.
year, helping people reduce their income taxes. And we get referred in to these guys that were doing a big sale leaseback transaction
Mm.
for they were buying big defense contractors buildings around Boston. And we saved them 4 million. And their CPA said, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible. You need to do a seminar." And so
It's
we did a
cool.
seminar,
It's cool.
and that was really our big launch point. And that one CPA guy changed, I'll say, the trajectory of our business because after that seminar in February of '03, we went from doing 5 or 10 projects
Hmm.
a year before to doing a couple of hundred.
It's cool.
Now we do somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 1800 per year.
I love
We've
it.
got 37 employees. Where it started out, it was an engineer and a CPA and me.
Yeah.
Now we have 37 employees.
Cool.
What it is, though, as opposed to just my nebulous conversation there,
Sure.
what it is, if I said to you, "Hey, Cole, would you rather take a write-off today
Hmm.
or wait 39 years to take the same write-off?"
The answer is obviously today. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's obvious,
Yeah.
but depending on how that's presented, because
Sure.
many times clients that own real estate, whether they're real estate investors or they own a business that happens to own a building as well. But if it's presented, what if I said, "Hey, Cole, why would you pay some guy to come in and tell you about this depreciation thing? You're going to get it either way. You're going to get it later. Why pay Hyatt to do this thing?"
Yeah.
And you might go, "Well, yeah, why would I do that?"
Why?
Well, because it gives you the money today
Faster.
so
Yeah.
that you don't have to send it to DC and you
Hmm.
get to redeploy that. So to your point that you mentioned to me earlier of what does this do and how can this get somebody off the starting line
Yeah.
or advance kind of turbocharge their growth off of the starting line, um, they can with that tax savings redeploy it, go buy their next building,
Yeah.
go buy their next piece of equipment, go buy their next guitar,
Hmm.
whatever it is that they're into,
Seeing my guitars in the background. I love it.
of
Yeah.
course. And so, whatever it is, they get to go use that money. Probably, I will venture a guess, they would say probably more effectively
Hmm.
than the people in DC.
Yeah.
So if you give business owners the money
Sure.
and they can use it, that's what they get excited about.
I love it.
As you said, I've been doing this for now pushing
Almost
28
30 years. Yeah.
years. It's somewhat crazy.
Hmm.
But we've done everything from little Airbnbs
Yeah.
to skyscraper buildings. We've done buildings that most everybody in the country has at least one mutual fund with.
It's
We've
cool.
done buildings that most everybody that wears flannel might be wearing one of their shirts.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
like if you put we've done musical instrument manufacturing
Yeah.
companies that everybody would know.
Hmm.
And it's crazy that the places we've been and the clients we've served,
It's cool.
big stuff and small.
I
So
love it.
I'll
That's
let
awesome.
you uh,
Yeah.
I'll let
No,
you go
thanks for
from
giving
there.
that context too, because you're a wealth of knowledge, obviously, and I've can just even hear if I had no context of who you were and what you've done, just the passion you have for what you do, which I love. It's cool. And if you guys are just listening to this, there's a massive smile on Jeff's face too, just even talking about the work they do. Let
It's
me
so
pause. You
funny.
you love what you do, don't you?
I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
because it's saving people taxes.
Hmm.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
Frankly, and I don't think I've ever said this on a podcast before, but when I went to college at Indiana University,
Uh-huh.
I chose my major because I did not want to take anything accounting. because I fell asleep in the classes. And
Yep.
so I was looking through the back in the day, the
Mhm.
really tissue paper booklets that had all the courses in it and the majors and how you got to them. And I was like, okay, well, that one, I don't need accounting. Oh, look at that. And I don't need computers.
Yeah.
And so I chose my major based on that, ironically.
So
And yet
ironic.
here I am
Yeah.
for almost 30 years now, uh,
Amazing.
spending time and getting
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
about accounting stuff.
It's cool. It sounds like because of the impact it makes for people and the tangible benefit for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. I really enjoy when I put people, when I save them
Hmm.
somewhere between 100 grand and 20, $30 million of
Yeah.
income tax,
Hmm.
and you're putting that into a successful person's hands, you become their friend pretty quickly.
Agreed.
And what you know you can do then is on my side, I do a lot of fundraising for veterans.
Yeah.
And when I say, "Hey, Cole, we just saved you 100 grand or 500 grand or whatever the number is,"
Yeah.
and hey, would you like to make a donation
Yeah.
to a veterans group and help them get a
Yeah.
service dog?
Mm,
We've done that with the boardroom.
I love it.
They
Yeah.
the boardroom donated a dog,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and we actually went and delivered that dog to the Navy SEAL
Mm.
that was getting it in June of this year. That was like a
Wow.
big win,
That's
and
so cool.
it makes it fun. It kind of makes the
Yeah.
world go around.
I love that so much. That's awesome. Well, there's three questions that we ask Jeff on these podcasts. And for you guys listening to this, if you've listened to any past interviews, you may not have caught this, but this is the three things that we talk about on our interviews and our starting line at conversations. Number one is, what is your starting line? Which is, I want to hear about your next goal, the thing that you guys are pursuing next. Number two is, what are some roadblocks that you've gone through that you've been able to tackle and learn from so that others can learn from it too? And number three is, how can you help others accelerate their race too? Or what are you doing that's helping you run faster that they can learn from too? And so we're going to talk about, you guys listen to this, those three things. But let's start with that first one, Jeff. You guys have been around for almost 30 years, helped thousands and thousands of people. What's the focus now? Is it, we just want to continue and maintain doing this, or is there a new starting line that you guys are pursuing of, growth or different expertise or different offerings? Like, I'd love to hear about the new race that you guys are running, if there's
The
any
new
details.
thing.
Yeah, what's the new
Well,
thing? What are
interest.
you chasing? What's the goal?
Well, it's funny because we've gotten to, we're the largest independent provider of cost segs out there,
Hmm.
apart from the big accounting firms like
Yeah.
PwC
Yeah.
and KPMG, KPMG and all them.
Yeah.
So we're the biggest independent.
Hmm.
And so people go, huh, why, why do this?
Yeah.
Well, I could keep on the treadmill
Sure.
of, doing the individual transactions, but my goal now, my starting line here that we're
Yeah.
talking about is, and this came out of the boardroom
Mm.
pushing me.
Love it.
I'm starting to do more podcasts and
Yeah.
more on-stage presentations.
Mm.
Um, I went from never having done them
I love it.
to now I'm flying down to Orlando on Thursday to do a
Let's
big
go.
presentation. Um, there'll be a couple hundred people there. I was with one of the boardroom members a few weeks ago. I thought I
Yeah.
was going into a group of like 50 people, maybe max. Walked in 1,300 people
Let's
at this
go.
event in Dallas.
That's
And
awesome.
so, it's this, my new starting line is to
Mhm.
kind of get more attention
Yeah.
because we we've got a great service to offer,
Hmm.
and only 30% of the people that could take advantage of it do take advantage of it.
Wow.
70% miss it because their accountants go, oh,
Mm.
it's not that big a deal. You'll get the deduction anyway. Just wait 39 years. And people go, wait a minute, 39 or 27 and a half
Yeah.
for apartments?
Uh-huh.
That's painful.
That's
That's a
aggressive.
lifetime. Would you
Hmm.
want to wait a lifetime for a write-off if you can take it today?
No.
Probably not. So that's my next thing
It's
that I'm
great.
doing. And if people know of speaking engagements for
Yeah.
your trade association, or
Yeah.
maybe they're real estate brokers or
Hmm.
agents, and they've got it,
It's great.
whoever it is,
It's
I'm
awesome. Yeah,
willing to talk.
if you're listening to this, first off, if you're a real estate business that wants to save money on your taxes, You'll have an opportunity to connect with Jeff. The contacts will be put in the show notes. We'll talk about it at the end too. But also, if you're in communities like that could learn from this stuff, and even if they don't ever hire, if they can learn from his expertise. So if here's some things that you can implement right now, hit Jeff up, get him to your event. You got to have people like this that are major experts to come and speak. That's one thing I've been whole nother side conversation, but I've been to so many events that I've either spoken at or attended that, they'll have people come and speak. And I'm like, what's this person's expertise? Like, there's just motivational rah rah, which is fine. I'm not, but it's so much better when you have these people are actually in the trenches doing these things and they can give you something to apply.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
It is funny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
then you
So
had another question.
yeah, so that was your starting line, and I'm excited to see you do more things like this and to share your expertise. But I'd love to know, Jeff, what obviously 30 years is a long time, or almost 30 years of doing this work, 26, 27, 28 years. What are some big obstacles for you that stand out over the last, 2.5, 3 decades that whether it's in running the business or serving clients or leading people, so you have a team of 36 or 37 now. What are, one or two big obstacles that you have had to tackle and overcome in that? I'd love to hear, small story of that and the lessons that you learned, just so the people that are hearing this, they can learn from that so they don't have to go through that same thing. Anything that stands out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals where back in the day, this came out like way back from a tax law change in 1986.
Yeah.
And as things started to get ramped up around 99, 2000, then all of a sudden we had 9/11 happen and that crashed the real estate market. And then things started to ramp back up again. And in '06, '07, '08, it crashed the market again. And so there always in life, whether you're talking about real estate or crypto
Hmm.
or whatever the heck else is out there, there's always ups and downs,
Yeah.
and that's just part of life. And you can either curl up and say, "Oh man, that beat the snot out of me. I'm
Yeah.
done. That was terrible." Or you can say, like your winner's creed there at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
"I'm getting through this. Damn it.
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
I'm going to burn the boats on the
Yeah.
shore, and there's no going back."
Yeah.
And so my suggestion is, um, don't wait necessarily for the perfect moment to make a
Sure.
move.
Yeah.
Make the move now. If that's buying your first building, I wish my wife and we started buying, we bought our first multifamily in 91.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Salem, Mass, right near the water. We paid 139 grand for a two-family house. Most of our rent was covered by the tenant downstairs. She was a real nice person. We lived upstairs. She
Yeah.
lived downstairs. She paid most of our mortgage.
Mm.
Our interest rate was above 10% at the time. We did it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just did it.
Yeah.
And we got through it all.
Hmm.
And had we waited for the interest rates to come down, because my father-in-law was kind of anti,
Yeah.
oh, two family, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
But we now own a lot more properties. We
Hmm.
own commercial office, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I wish we'd have done it sooner and
Hmm.
more of it, but
Mm.
we did it and we're still in the game
Yeah.
and having fun with it.
Yeah.
And so I would say to people out there, just make a decision, burn the boats,
Yeah.
and go forward.
Yeah. Two phrases that come to mind that I say a lot that resonates with this. Number one is it's the start that stops most people.
Right.
It's like, just most people fail not because they can't. It's just because they never try. They never get going. You never get off the sidelines and actually get in the game. So it sounds like what I hear you saying is even if the situation or circumstances aren't perfect, jump. Just get in it.
Do something.
Do something.
Some people think talking about it,
Mhm.
it gives their brain the
The dopamine hit that as if
yeah,
they did it anyways. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They think, oh, I did it.
Yeah.
Or their brain says, I did it. Well, no,
Mhm.
you didn't.
Mhm.
You're still on the sidelines, pal.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't get you
The
anywhere.
second thing too is, when you think about waiting for perfection, the phrase that I love is that you can't turn a stationary car. but it's so much easier to turn a car that's already moving. So even if I start and I'm not perfect in the right direction, or I'm not going the right speed or pacing, like if I don't have to have it perfect, but it's easier to turn a ship that's already moving or a car that's already moving than something stationary. And so I think it's important for us to remember that life functions that same way too. It's hard for us to move or turn directions when we're stuck in one spot. But if you get moving, you can always pivot. And it's way easier to do that than to get yourself started.
You're right. And have I never served in the military myself,
Mm.
but I now, because since 2010 I've been
Yeah,
helping
so
raise money
involved.
for
Yeah.
these guys.
Mhm.
Um, Predominantly guys,
Yeah.
some women too,
Sure.
of course. My daughter was in the Coast Guard,
Cool.
so for
Mhm.
7 years.
That's awesome.
But what the kind of one of the sayings that's within that community is you you can't have the perfect army or military ready to go for any given conflict. You're going to go to battle with the army or the whatever you
Yeah.
with the army you have at hand.
Hmm.
And it may not be perfect, but you've
Yeah.
still got to go, and you got
Yeah.
to go now.
Hmm.
And that's ultimately the deal. You, oh, what if interest rates were lower? Well, what if it was a
Sure.
better cap rate? What if it was,
Yeah.
a lower price?
Hmm.
What if? And you don't move.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, make the
Yeah.
move.
I love it. Now, Jeff, speaking about this obstacle stuff, you guys run a substantial firm. We're, I won't give away any, proprietary or informational stuff, but you got an eight-figure firm, and it's a substantial size business. And our leaders listen to this. Some of them have large businesses like you. Some of them are just getting started. Some of them are somewhere in the middle where I'm in the building season and we're wanting to get. But what is one thing that, looking back over the last 27 years, that if you could tell, you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in, that you could go back and tell them from what you've learned now about running a business and leading a team that you wish you knew then?
Well, looking at it from the real estate ownership
Sure.
side, start earlier.
Start
Like
early.
I
Yeah.
meet young people and I love to talk to young people
Mm.
that are, in their 20s. I've talked to some kids at these events and they're like 18, 19 years old. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you have the world
Amazing.
in front of you. You can do this. You can crush it. You just have to believe that you can do it. And
Yeah.
I get so excited for them because if they do what they're at these
Hmm.
seminars to do,
Yeah.
which is learn stuff, if they'll just execute,
Mm.
their world will be
Yeah. There's so
un
much time in the market that just
right.
that can be, that's the number one asset you've got is time. Yeah.
And I look at it now and go, well, I don't have as much time, as
Yeah.
these young people. So that's okay. So at any rate, make the move,
Start
get
faster.
going.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about
And
what
then,
about like on the business owner side and leader side or
well,
partner side? Yeah.
I've heard it from the folks we work with directly inside and then outside as well. When you're going out and looking for a resource,
Mhm.
some person to be your CFO, COO,
Yeah.
don't hire to train them into something
Mm.
because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Um, it's probably better, depending on your situation,
Sure.
if you can afford it, any way, shape, or form, hire somebody that's already done it.
Mm.
They've done it for maybe a different business model, but at least they've been through the
Yeah.
rigmarole and the trenches of the battle. And so they're going to be able to get you to that next level more quickly versus you hiring somebody that you're going to have to gently work up
Mhm.
because then you're just automatically that person is starting out with their brakes on. Like
Sure.
to use your analogy of turning the car,
Yeah.
if the car's rolling, that's great. They've kind of got some knowledge, but if they're pressing the brakes all the time, going, well, what
Sure.
about, well, wait, how,
Yeah.
when, maybe, you know,
Mhm.
whereas somebody that knows what they're doing is going to be like, let's go, and they're
Yeah.
hitting the gas.
Yeah. That's something I hear a lot from some of the bigger leaders that I surround myself with that has helped them accelerate a ton is hiring people like you said that are already the best in their field. Like, can I go? If I'm starting a new, and I heard Richard Branson say this. If I when I started, is it Virgin Airlines? I think that he runs. He said when I started Virgin, he said I went and hired the number two from one of the other major airlines and said, "Hey, let me make you a partner. Let's build something." And he said, "That's how we grew so fast. Is because I just
Yeah,
hired someone who's already done it, and he was the
that's
operator, the driver of the business that's already doing it." instead of me reinventing the wheel, let's just get someone else who's already done it. And so I think that's such a valuable lesson is if I'm trying to do something, and I think that's not just hiring people inside of our organization. I think it's hiring mentors and coaches too. It's like, hey, if you can find someone that's got that thing that you're already trying to build, and it's not always that they've got a bigger business than you, but it's like, hey, they've figured out something that I'm trying to figure out. That's why I run a health business and still pay other health providers and coaches. I run a partner in a consulting firm. I still hire business coaches because they have figured out something. We just hired another person to help us build out our new webinars. It's like, you've already done this a ton of times. Help me accelerate that. So I
Right.
think it's such a valuable thing to say, whether it's internal or external, let's just accelerate by hiring people who've already done it.
Right. That
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
is the key.
Yeah.
And like, and one of the other comments would be, um, don't don't be afraid. You kind of said it, but I'll
Mhm.
just take
Yeah.
it one slight pivot a little bit. Um, you know, be in the right rooms.
Hmm.
So maybe the masterminds,
Yeah.
even if they're
Hmm.
big money to you is maybe different than big money to
Sure.
somebody else.
Yeah.
So whatever that money is,
Yeah.
be in the biggest swimming pool you can be in
Hmm.
with the biggest people.
Yeah.
Don't surround yourself with smaller people
Hmm.
because they're going to not help you get to the next level. With the
Right.
boardroom,
Hmm.
I was somewhat okay with where we were
Sure.
and hadn't really thought of this whole thing about
Yeah.
really embracing social media,
Hmm.
which I still am not a big lover of posting crapola on
Yeah.
social media. I got to do that. And so I'm actually one of my boardroom assignments is to hire a VA,
I love
and
it.
I'm working on that right now.
That's cool.
Um, so it's just, you know,
Mhm.
embrace what makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's great. I
So,
love it. Let's talk about your expertise, and I want to make sure that people listening to this because they've heard some cool stuff about your background, how you got into this. They've been encouraged a little bit to don't wait to start. Hire people that are ahead of you. So we've talked about some tactical things, but I want them to leave with some tactical either encouragement or things that they can apply now when it comes to the work that you guys do so they can accelerate their race. So if you are talking to a business owner, real estate or not, that you know is missing out on some of their their tax liability, what's the first thing you would tell them? Where would you say start, or what's the biggest lever that they can pull? What's some encouragement you would give someone that's really looking to this as some of their first steps? Outside of hire
so
you and let you do it for them.
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
but so
Sure.
just make sure. Okay, so in my world,
Yep.
um, I find there are two kinds of financial advisors.
Hmm.
And a lot of times that's going to be a tax attorney or a CPA or both. And some are very historically oriented only, meaning they're going to look at call and they're going to go, okay, Cole, hey, it's January 15th. You got me the information. We're good to go. And I'll file your tax return. And that's historical. That's looking in the rearview mirror,
Yep.
but you're not looking forward then. You're
Hmm.
just looking at what you did versus somebody that meets with you in August, September and goes, hey, Cole, hey, man, blah, blah, blah. What have you spent? What have you thinking about doing? What do you want to do? How are you going to
Yeah.
get there? And now they're looking forward. They're not saying, hey, what did you do? They're
Yeah.
saying, hey, how can you do it? And
Yeah.
how can you do it better?
Proactive versus reactive. Yeah.
Right, right.
Hmm.
So the historian versus, the planner. And so
Right.
I would say to anybody out there, make sure that when you talk to your advisors,
Hmm.
maybe ask them the first question should be, hey, what do you consider your role to be as my tax advisor, as
Hmm.
my CPA,
Yeah.
as my tax attorney? And if they don't say something to the effect of, I'm going to do everything I can to help my clients reduce income taxes and remain compliant with the tax law. If
Yeah.
they don't say that, is
Yeah.
don't lead them, don't feed
Yeah.
them that ahead of time that that's what you're
Hmm.
looking for.
Yeah.
Get their honest answer. Because if they're not saying that,
Hmm.
they're historical facing only. They're
Yeah.
rear view mirror looking, not going forward. And
Mm.
when I see that, I just go, one client actually said to me, he goes, he was using one of the big four firms.
Yeah.
And he goes, why hasn't my Big Four accounting firm told me this.
Yeah.
And I said, because, it was a ballsy move on my part because I was like, this guy can either throw me out right
Yeah.
now or he'll either listen.
Uh-huh.
And I said, because you're being completely underserved. And
Mm.
so I went for it. And he was like, how can you say that? And I said, because anybody that owns as much real estate as you do,
Yeah.
and with your wealth, you should know about this. And
Mm.
he called that person at the Big Four accounting firm. And the guy goes, we don't even look at buildings if the fee is not going to be 500,000 or more. Now that's the fee. Our stuff starts to make sense financially if they've spent 300 grand to buy the building,
Yeah.
not our fee.
No.
And so they only look at skyscrapers, the Big Four
Yeah.
accounting firms. We look at stuff from the Airbnb up.
Hmm.
And we saved that guy a bunch of money.
I'm sure.
And he ended up getting a new accountant out of
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure. I love that. What would you say has changed this year with the big beautiful bill? I'm sure that's some of that has affected things. Give me kind of a rundown of what the landscape looks like now, end of 25 coming into 2026 of what business owners should be looking at, maybe different than what has happened over the last couple of years. Any insight on that?
Sure, sure. You're dragging me right down to be the tax dork on here, aren't you? So
I love it.
that's
No,
fine.
I want to hear
It's
the
fine.
expertise too.
No, I joke about myself being a tax
Sure.
dork now. It's crazy. But from when we started in 96 to 2017, bonus depreciation never ever applied to an existing building. It would
Mm.
only apply to new construction projects.
Yeah.
It was an incentive to get the economy moving that was implemented first after 9/11,
Yep.
and then it changed some of its nuance through the years, but it never applied to buying an existing building. And then in 2017, and by the way, in that span from 96 to 17, we did about 15,000 studies. Okay. Bonus did not apply to existing buildings then. And so then all of a sudden in 17, bonus comes into play and they say, hey, anything that goes into 5, 7, or 15 year, all of a sudden you get to grab bonus on it, meaning you get to take that immediately
Yep.
as opposed to waiting 5 or 7 or 15 years, which is the logical waiting time. But wait a minute, bonus allows you to grab it right away.
Yep.
Well, when they put that tax law in, they had to build in a sunset provision, they call it, and they did. And then bam, it started to wind down
Mhm.
until January 20th of this year,
Yep.
which is when Big Beautiful Bill became retroactively effective.
Mhm.
And so bonus, the turbocharger
Yep.
of depreciation, came back into play. Now, what that's led to is a lot of, I'll say, jamokes on the social media and internet that are out
Mhm.
there promoting things that that flat out ignore the tax law. So the
Sure.
tax law says specifically you can't use remote site visits.
Mm.
It says in the audit techniques guide, which is how the IRS communicates to their field agents,
Yeah.
a quality report is going to have real site visits. Without that, you're going to you're going to lose the deduction upon
Mm.
audit. So
Wow.
that's why we have 27 people who do the site visits that are our
Yeah.
direct employees.
It's great.
So anyway, that's
Yeah.
the big thing and that a lot of people should be taking advantage of now is if they own real estate or they've done any kind of renovation.
Mm. I love it. What would you say? Um, because you've encouraged people to start faster. Like, don't wait. Make this happen sooner. Make sure that your financial people, whether it's CPA, tax accountant, tax attorney, aren't just looking rearview mirror. They're looking ahead. They're proactive. We've talked a little bit about the big beautiful bill and how some of these turbocharge depreciation stuff, like it's accelerated. What would you say on top of this, if there's any other encouragement to business owners listening to this, outside of getting started faster and getting some help from someone proactive, is there any other big areas that you're noticing that business owners miss? They may have a good financial person that looks forward. They may be focused on some of these turbochargers. Maybe they started faster, but any other areas that you say, hey, I notice a lot of business owners don't know about this, or a lot of business owners they miss this big area. Anything that comes to mind there?
So if they're looking at a transaction, i.e. A sale at some
Hmm.
point in the semi near future,
Yeah.
they should be looking at a thing called QSBS,
Mm,
which is Qualified Small Business Stock Sale. And what that and that's not my space. I
sure.
know a small sliver of it.
Okay.
Um, Opportunity zones are another thing that people should look at. It helps communities um, build their infrastructure and their social fabric, but it also offers tax incentives. Um, there's potentially all kinds of other little
Yeah.
nuances of things. But if you want an intro, Cole, to a
Sure.
QSBS guy, it's a
Okay.
it's a great thing. So it's not actually 100% correct to say it this way, but
Hmm.
it will convey the message. Um, QSBS is like a 1031 for
Yep.
real estate where you defer the tax on the gain. That's
Hmm.
what a 1031 is.
Yep.
QSBS is kind of, but not exactly, the
Sure.
same
Similar. Yeah.
thing for selling a business so that there's a
Ah,
way that you
okay.
can basically um, not pay as much
Of the
or
capital
any
gains.
of the
Yeah.
gains
Hmm.
on the sale of your business.
It's huge.
But it's huge. It's freaking way over the top huge,
Hmm.
but you have to plan it ahead of time. You can't
Yeah.
just go, oh, here we go. I'm doing
Yeah.
this. Tomorrow
Yeah.
I'm selling and I'm going to do QSBS and hadn't planned it at all.
Yeah.
You've got to have everything lined up. I
And
know
how you set up the
people.
stocks okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
We
I've
have,
set up other
yeah.
businesses. Again, I don't know the
Hmm.
details.
Yeah.
I just know enough
Yeah.
as I hedged
Yes, if
myself
you're
there.
if you're a business owner, also looking to exit in the near future, that's it's great advice to look into. How can I not just mitigate my personal taxes, not just mitigate our business taxes, but how can I get rid of these capital gain taxes that are going to be massive for you?
Right, right.
That's super valuable. Jeff, what's the best way that people get connected with you?
So, so I'll give you my mobile,
Yeah,
number 508
sure.
878 4846.
Okay.
Should I repeat it or just
Yeah.
good to go?
Well, we'll put that in the show notes too. We'll
Okay.
put we'll put your social media so everybody following this. It's in the notes too. But Depreciation Doctor, he's the content he's begun posting. I know it's come out of the boardroom too. They've challenged you to push a lot more too. But
Yep.
there's a lot of teaching. I watched some of your reels and videos that the team has been putting up or you've been putting up. So there's a lot of great education. So if you're wanting to learn how to save money on taxes, this is a great place to start. Jeff, one final thought. Anything that you would leave business owners outside of what we've talked about? We've talked about starting faster and making sure you've got advisors that are looking forward and hiring people that have already gone ahead of you, whether it's a mentor or a staff member. We've talked about some of the deduction stuff that you can do and the QSBS you can look for. But any other final encouragement you would leave a business owner, just kind of person to person, like, hey, you lead a big team of people, you help a lot of clients. Is there any encouragement you would give to another business owner who's running their race hard? How can they win?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, in life, you can always just be focused on yourself.
Mm,
Okay. And that's fine. That's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
But my life and my business world somewhat changed when I said, hey, listen, I'm doing okay enough now. This was in 2010 that I can dedicate some time to serve the folks that protected our
Mm,
US way
yeah.
of life.
Yeah.
So for me, I chose to give back to the veteran community.
I love
I
it.
would say if somebody loves dogs, get involved with some humane society. Or if they love whales, get involved with some
Mm,
save the whale group or,
yeah.
whatever it is that you're passionate about, you know, um, dedicate some of your time, and maybe initially it just has to be a little bit of money,
Sure.
but as you get more successful, because what it does is separate you and your business
Mm,
from other folks that are just only focused on
yeah.
selling whatever the heck it is. If
Mm,
you're adding to the community somewhat,
yeah.
whatever that community is,
Yeah.
it separates you
Mhm.
and it helps you kind of realign your own focus.
Sure.
So
That's great.
that's
Yeah, and I know that's such a great thought, Jeff. And I know for me, the purpose of why I run business and why I serve and help people, it also helps you keep going when stuff gets hard.
Right.
And when you can attach the money that you make to the impact that you can serve, and I know you say there's a lot of stuff you do for veterans. There's a lot of times for me when I didn't want to, go through a push season or stuff was stressful for business, I can immediately turn and say, hey, if we make it through this and we can find that growth that we were talking about, more women are saved from sex trafficking, or more people are, whatever
Right.
it is that your thing is.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have a good friend that calls it cause capitalism. I make money so that I can help serve other people.
There you go.
So I think that's such a great encouragement. Jeff, thank you so much for giving your time. Such a just an honor to have you on this conversation. I look forward to connecting more. And if you're a business owner or specifically real estate business owner, if you're listening to this, they are the ones to go to. Hit Jeff up. The show notes below has the contact information. Reach out to them, get help. At least explore the process. Nobody says you have to make a decision today and hire them and spend money, but at least explore how much you could be saving, because that's an investment that's going to bring a significant return. So check Jeff out. Jeff, thanks so much for being on here. For those of you listening to this, remember this: you are a winner. It is who you are. Thanks for tuning into the Starting Line podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.